there is plenty of time to step up. That's what we're going to be looking forward to from S2G, hopefully from Vods as well. Everybody else in that elimination bracket in the final Erangel of the day.
On match 6 here, so obviously we do have 3 more days to go after this one. But again, this is where we close things out for now. They'll return to join us again tomorrow after this match. But according to where after this one has finished, as I'm sure we'll have some exciting things to show before the end of the day. Before you guys and go chill out and do whatever it is you do other than watching PUBG Mobile. Maybe you want to go watch some more PUBG Mobile, so head all over to PUBG Mobile Esports YouTube channel and pick it all up there. At the moment, though, shooting range, we're heading down from Zaki to Novorepnoye. This is, again, another pretty kind playing path. Most of these players are able to get to where they would like to go. LGD dropping out nice and early over towards Crate, South George. A little bit change of pace for them, but this will be fine. Again, coming off the back of the win, a lot of these teams do require a bit of momentum to get going. Mad Bulls, I didn't really like what happened last game. I felt like they took a route in towards the circle, which was going to be rife with engagements and aggressive nature, and also defended areas of the map. So I think for Mad Bulls, it might just be a case of rethinking about going back to that safe play style in the early game.
Playing path splitting out now. Circle drops to the mainland on the northwest side. Not going down south to military this time around again. Box dropping south on the yellows on the coast. And they will be chilling for the time being. No one really too close by.
Not at the moment. For Box, this is one of the first times I'm able to drop it and not have too much harassment going on. Mad Bulls have pretty much had to change their drop spot every single time here on our angle. Constantly finding problems around the map. So this time around, they're a little bit further off towards our eastern side of Rozhok. Have a bit of a split going still, which is what they were heading for last game. Again, this could just be scouting early on in the tournament. Trying to figure out where exactly is free, where exactly is open, and then deciding on more of a permanent drop spot in the future. Again, we know that this team works very closely with their coach as well as their analysts to make sure that they're able to find the best position on the map and the best routes of ingress to get towards those positions that they're favorable to win from. So I think there's going to have to be a lot of rethinking going on at the moment. Nevertheless, 38 points are still decent, 7th place, very much safe right now. There is that drop off between 8th place and 9th place with LGD and 4 rivals dropping by 10 points. So there is this nice buffer going on between first and 8th place.
It's looking pretty calm between those areas. And there are those clear divisions starting themselves known. I think at the end of this game, we will have that clearer picture as every single game further. North contested for R8. LGD South George. Team Queso making all the way up to Severny on a split. And they're going to be pretty happy about that as well, shifting the way it did.
Yeah, if you didn't quite catch the circle itself on the map, it did actually head up towards that northwest side. So Ruins, pretty much dead central. This one could be heading for like an Everest ending here, potentially even that nasty island between Rozhok and the northern island. There you go, there's your answer. Only 15% of you got it right. Shameful. You guys need to be better on the ball.
S2G claiming PMGC 2021 as last year's PMGC.
I mean, to be fair, that
52%.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Oh, I didn't see what the option was there towards A. I thought it was 52%. I was like, hang on a minute. No.
That
Wait,
can't be right.
That's the number of people that chose that option.
Okay. 10 chicken dinners over in PMGC 2021, which is quite a lot, to be honest. But yeah. We're here in PMGC 2022 where they've got 0 chicken dinners.
It is very much a different story right now for S2G. Currently, no one really streaking out with the most chicken dinners. It's been evenly split. No repeat performances yet. Influenced Galaxy, Titan Gaming, Mad Bulls, and LGD currently the chicken dinner eaters. We'll see who is able to claim that 6th. Is it going to continue to disperse, play a little bit fair, or are we going to see a concentration just a little bit more? At the moment, it seems like most of these teams are playing, especially the teams at the top, are playing consistently and making intelligent decisions rather than going for winning plays necessarily all the time. They're just going for those points.
Yeah, I mean, you play a LAN event like this, there is nerves that add into the equation as well. You comfort at home anymore. So for some players, it might just be nerves getting into this kind of environment. You know, it's the biggest tournament of the year as well. It might require a day for those nerves to calm, to settle, before you can start playing to your utmost capability. Again, that is one of those things that is not unlikely to happen, but it might not be the main reason. We'll see again tomorrow what happens, because I think if you can't quite get things right tomorrow, that's where you start to have to really worry quite a bit, because you only then have 2 days to rectify any mistakes that you might have made over those last 2 days. And with the way, you know, we're seeing the point split happen currently, it could be quite difficult to climb back up. Again, we do have a lot of leeway at the moment, with the first through third place getting an instant invite to those grand finals of PMGC, and then 4th through 11th getting through to the survival stage. There is still a lot of capability for so much movement towards the bottom of the table to sneak your way into that survival stage.
Definitely on the minds of everyone. Not currently in that top bracket. MTech playing a little bit reserved here on the north side of Gatka. Not striking out just yet, not going for a bold push out to a separate compound, just keeping that info coming in. And you don't need to do anything other than that if you're in this central situation. There's a lot of the north side of the river, though, still in the circle, so a difficult shift could prove to be troublesome if you haven't got a north outpost.
I think for a lot of these teams, setting themselves up on the banks, on the coasts, on the bankings of this river throughout the north side of the map is most likely going to be the smartest maneuver, which is what you can see a lot of these teams doing, as you mentioned, John. You need to be able to cover all your bases, and if it does require you to move up towards that northern side, you better be ready to cross that bridge and not get taken down by some players that may be gatekeeping one of the Harry Potter towers on that northern edge, which is a little bit more difficult. R8, obviously, Team Queso, as well as Influence Chemin, all having a very good time of it at the moment if that should happen. Already raring to go on that northern side setup. 4 rivals as well, and Rozhok have an easy enough rotation across, with Rozhok Hill providing a lot of information in the early game towards that northern side of the river anyway, so you should be able to identify a route that is easy enough to traverse.
Enigma Galaxy having a little bit of a standoff across the field with onlookers as well. MTech Storm spotting out Aegon XI8 as well. Enigma Galaxy roll across, looking for a little opening. A play their own. Looks like they've found it. Titan, a little bit too slow to be able to claim it themselves.
I mean, it's quite odd for MTech Storm as well, because this is a team that I feel like I've not seen a lot out of, yet they are currently in position to go through to towards the survival stage. Very central circle, I would say, including that water on the western side, heading down towards the south side of that northern island. So happy days for a lot of teams are already here. There is still a little bit of circle over towards that northern bridge towards Rozhok side, but I think most teams will now start thinking about where can they get to in this circles. I mean, Ruins is an awkward position to play. Rozhok can still in this one with apartments about in too, but it's that open ground towards the eastern side of Ruins, which is going to be really difficult to play around.
Will not be easiest, but it could be the only option for a couple of teams. LGD sprayed on towards Bayayala from Team Queso there. A side of Ruins, just near that river crossing, the foothills of Everest. Team Queso trying to make their way across. They've already lost a player on that crossing. R8 are in the mix of it as well. Looks like they want to head further south, go deeper into Ruins.
This is fairly central of an area, is Ruins anyway, so getting here and being able to pick up some high ground would be nice for you, be able to hold out some of these teams towards that northwest edge too, John. Again, a lot of teams not really wanting to head towards that open ground, towards Headshot Hills. Horrible positions to play in if you get caught out there with no recourse, no hope of escaping.
BTR crossing the river near Rozhok on the east side. Will be moving in to influence Chemen's area. Not going to be stopped for it. No roadblock established. The position will be taken up on the east side of Rozhok. Teams really mostly moving south now off the back of this previous circle. Team Queso getting rolled down just a little bit. Bandar on the replay there. This is how Team Queso lost Reyes earlier on their river crossing on that northwest side.
Right, well, you're not Tarzan, so you don't want to be swinging from the trees. But quickly gets back in the buggy and back on his way. Does take a bit of damage though. For team like S2G, yeah, sorry, I apologise. Wrong name.
No, George, is it?
Better
I
movie.
mean, they both do swing from vines.
Yeah, better movie though. Really, let's be honest.
What, George of the Jungle?
Oh yeah, of course. S2G though managed to make their way down from the north side of ruins into a fairly decent spot. It is quite central though. And we know S2G, if they start breaking out, taking too many fights, it might be a case that this is a team that goes down rather early. In the meantime, Mad Bulls are able to get ahead of 4 rivals this time with that circle heading down towards the southwest as well. That's going to be completely in the favor of Mad Bulls. This is towards Pachinki though, but with this circle over towards that western side, you're more than likely going to see just a few of these compounds from Pachinki still being in. I-8 currently holding their position down towards that southwest side on the edges of the field towards those compounds. One player in UZM actually being able to hold one of those smaller compounds for himself to provide some information back to the rest of his team. Most likely will regroup later.
South push coming through from Enigma Galaxy. Played very, very stacked in the vehicle. Is this all of them at the same time? Moving in just the one vehicle? I don't like it. They're regrouping with Hamodi though. They do have that outpost. Okay. Seems they scouted that route. They saw R8 cross it. They knew it was a little bit safe, so maybe that was giving them the confidence to stack up in the car, but they make a dangerous push either way.
I think for a lot of these teams, they realize that they need to get towards a decent position in the circle. There's not a lot of real estate here, John, honestly. There's some of these compounds on the outer edges of Pachinki that are available to play, but again, the entirety of the western side, like right on the edge area, it is mostly fielded. And you have these hills down towards the south end of Pachinki that you might be able to play in, but other than that, this is quite the awkward zone to be messing around with at the moment.
Spray over from R8. 4 rivals give them the broadside on the roll-up as well. Pamburu caught unawares, certainly be aware of it now, goes down. Enigma Galaxy are here as well on the other side of the warehouse. And both teams are actually feeling the brunt of it. S2G getting lit up in the field as well. R8 somehow going to be the snake who slivers on through the net there, bringing down a hefty chunk of 4 rivals out in the open. Does S2G struggle on that north side too?
I mean, S2G lose a player as they try and provide an anchor point for the rest of the team in Silas, but luckily there is a little bit of redemption, a little bit of retaliation coming through from the rest of the team from Hamzy G. But it am going up against LGD at the moment, currently just running them through.
And will not stop there. Suki doesn't even go down, and LGD are all 4 alive. They could start that heal fast and get on the bike. As Buradam fall on the southwest side, their last entry. One of the teams in the top bracket, drawn short here, 15th place, no eliminations, no points.
Yeah, I mean, for LGD, though, this gives a lot of room to play with now. Box will be in front of them in a compound towards that southwestern edge. Absolutely fine, though. They can play around with this. This still works, and it gives them more time to actually get themselves into a position that they feel comfortable with. I think with these next couple of shifts now being less egregious and the shrinks becoming smaller and smaller, LGD could play this position for quite some time.
They have got that edge capability there. Nade over the top, over towards R8, sees them all go down. S2G picking up a whole host of points. A clutch on the nade. 3 eliminations now, and S2G wipe out quite a big area on the north side of the road for themselves.
Exactly, but that's their one fight. It's their one good fight, and then from here, it's how much more can they take? Because I think they do start to just break out a bit too much, John, you know, poking a little too many teams, rubbing them the wrong way, make a lot of enemies quite quickly, and then S2G tend to fall because of the amount of eyes staring at them. Titans, though, over towards that church position, over towards Pachinki, giving them a lot of oversight for the time being. Haven't lost too many members either. This is a team that would love to get back up towards one of those podium positions with Buriram out very early on in this game. This does give a great chance for Titans to now pick up some points and put themselves back in the big three.
Leapfrog Buriram, who joined the bunch in the previous matches. The Infinity hunkering down a Pachinki right now, with Titans in that church position as their foreguard. Bigatron, they're playing on that northwest side and potentially ready to find LGD rolling straight up onto position. Those smokes will let them know that there are players here leaving. LGD, though, they want to get more rundowns, and they'll be able to find it onto Luxia. Spray down from YZ, and they'll be able to get the flush fast as well. LGD, 5 eliminations. They do not want to let that last game momentum go. They're going to try and pick it back up onto Bigatron.
Real good catch on the timing for Bigatron there. They were just about to set out towards that northern side. Looks he's left behind all by his lonesome as the rest of the team gets in the vehicles to move out. Mad Balls lost a player in Monkey. Get dropped down towards the floor and lost another on top of that. So Mad Balls again into a position where they only have two players up. Make that just the one now.
Influence Chairman Bombardment finds the nades over onto Mad Bull's position. Look at that, they continue to go straight on through. Nades pouring on in. And the Mad Bulls taken out of the mix. Actually, I think he's only left very, very split. Maybe looking for the res on the Mad Bulls, but they are really out of the way on that eastern side. It looks like Influence Chemin want to sweep down, and actually they've pushed further down south as well towards Titans. Bit of a crash on the western side as MTEX push on in. 4 players alive for them. As Aegon XIA will look to hold off. Another actually backup crash comes in. 2 players on the inside, but Tarment handles 1. Not good for 2 though, however, will get flushed down. That's unfortunate. Would need to keep all 4 of your players alive there.
See 1 player on the bottom edge of your screen as well. I can live this one out, but it's Box have managed to get themselves into a fairly decent spot here. This player from I8 wants to just hold on. Very unlikely to keep going though. Mad Bulls will go down and they'll be finished their day at 38 points. IQ here lights the top floor up with the Molotovs. Now just smokes though and has to go for the full-on spray.
Finds 1, drops out unscathed. Nice start to the engagement, but spotted, repositions. First aid, only 1 in the back pocket. Needs to figure out if he wants to fight or try and heal. Tries the challenge, tries the spray, but it's not good. Box cut it down, and they will be able to get break back up as well. Staying alive as 4 in a building compound position. As LGD try and rock on up, but they're turned away swiftly.
I mean, CCC was looking for another rundown. Unfortunately, you can't quite fit the buggy through the door there. Now it's a breakout wide. CCC's also spotted by Tizzy from MTech. Oh, should go down here. Is able to find that knock. Box also suffering on their side.
Nade actually out towards CCC. One up, Tizzy. There's no one there to spray at, I'm afraid. They will have gone down already. Box regrouping. Infinity in the meantime challenging with DRS, moving through already, finding the first. Delta the next to bear the brunt, with rules up top to lay down some covering suppressive bombardment from those nades. Delta banks the nade incorrectly there, unfortunately. Strafes back into the rocket, doesn't quite find the arc on it. Doesn't quite land over towards the Infinity, but Mela going down, leaves Logan and Nuzi to challenge up the hill. They're getting continually pressured by this blue zone as well. Team Queso, in the meantime, full.
Pretty uneventful game for some of just falling with little to no eliminations found. Bucks have found that base with an insane compound. They're able to take off the hands of IA, albeit only being 1 player that was left inside that building. Played from this spot very strongly though, with it being extremely central and has eyes on towards a long on the outside. That final zone, Bombing should have a really good shout into this game. S2G out for eliminates Influence Chemin coming in from that northeastern side. Really, this lobby today.
Certainly have. Nades. Killer has one in hand towards Infinity. A little bit left. Will not find too much, but Infinity are making that push up the open hillside. Can Rules find those shots, find those angles? They're putting nades back the way of DRS in the meantime on the southeast side to try and get a little bit of control over this hill that will give them a good launching point for the rest of the zone. But they have to dismount DRS if they want to be able to do it. Newsy goes down first. That's a bad start for Infinity. Killer swings out with the Groza. Delta low but not has that first aid, can heal and regroup. 2 players remain for the Infinity.
DRS looking more and more like hedgehogs without a shrapnel that's currently in them, but surviving nonetheless. The Infinity now slow things down, start to crawl up. DRS still not out yet, not a single player down. Influence Chemin, 5 elims for them found. LGD were trying to remove them from the equation. Titans looking to keep this one up, might be able to even try and leapfrog Nigma Galaxy in this game, but unlikely the position that Nigma Galaxy currently hold from those compounds. So Titans have to hold on for a little bit longer with no cover to work with on these vehicles.
Oh, Lord, backed off the shot by Titan. Teak. As everybody's on the swivel. Zuxi knocked a flushed very fast by Lil Boy from Influence Chemin. On that northern side, next circle comes in and pushes everyone central. And again, it's Box really with the lion's share.
Yeah, and it was just central enough that it locks out both MTech's as well as Nigma Galaxy's compounds, which is great news for Box Gaming. You know, all things considered, this should be a Box Gaming win if they can translate off the back of this. They have a very good compound. So if Influence Chemin wants to be able to take this one home, it's going to be a case of playing from uphill, which is towards this northeastern side anyway, down towards Box Gaming. They're going to have to find some of these shots through the windows, open up with a couple of grenades maybe. They still have to deal with Nigma Galaxy as well as the final members from BTR, but it looks like they will just leave that alone for the time being, try and get a better position on the circle. You can see here they're setting themselves up on that hillside with sightlines down towards Box Gaming's spot.
They can play on the north side of the road for a little bit longer, can Influence Chemin. Huge. There's a little bit of cover. Hopefully they'll be able to find some power there to solidify their slot at the top at the end of day 1. Would certainly be a good start for them. Box, though, not willing to let this one go. We've seen it from LGD before. Getting a good game to careen up the tables. Box Gaming looking to repeat that and get out of that elimination bracket, that red zone at the bottom of the tables, which every single team here is absolutely dreading.
DRS, huge amount of damage, knocks down. The Infinity finally out. Probably one of their better games to date at an 8th place, which is sad to say, really. Titans, 5 eliminations found this game so far from a pretty rough spot, honestly, but you can see the red markers on their side. They are restabilizing, getting players back up on their feet, but it is difficult, and Nigma Galaxy is starting to move forward to send these grenades in.
One more and a longer arc there, over towards Titan, but will not be able to land it. Fortunately, Ralph on the roof will find Puncher. DRS still low, still flagging, but still alive. Nigma Galaxy picking up points wherever they can. They really do want to challenge Influence Chemin here. Box, the first roll on up. It's only the one, though. An MTech Storm, chicken on the outside, actually suppressing the ridgeline effectively. Tizzy will fall, however. An MTech Storm will fall to boot. The Korean team is out of the final game of the day.
DRS, it's so difficult to move through this spot, and Titans still have a lot more nades to work with. Delta tries to jump forward, but that'll be it, with the blue zone doing the rest of the work. But Titans now finding some big damage here in this game, some big points on their side as well, but it's 10 eliminations here found for Influence Chemin, still at 4 players alive. Jem Foster behind, not likely to be able to do too much, looking to live here. BTR have done pretty damn good today, all things considered. For their recent performances to the last PMGC, I think this is a much better start than we're used to seeing from BTR. So I'm happy with what's currently happened, but Influence Chemin's absolutely put on a clinic today.
Groza in the care package drop just outside of the box compound. That is quite an effective weapon to hold off against those pushes, so if they can break out and grab that, it'd be good. But similarly, it's a little bit of cover for teams to roll up on if they want to go for that grab.
I mean, that's what it'll come down to in the end, is just a crash directly onto Box Gaming's position. Surprised Acer didn't get knocked there. He's lucky to get away with his life. On no HP, 0.5 HP bar, in fact.
Puncher shimmying down there. Takes a bullet, maybe two, but some covers from somewhere. Teak now making the same mad dash. Acer actually finding Lord, trading it off from across the way. Three teams in this fight. Freak rolls up to Teak and it's not good. Will fall down to it, but it's traded off so many ways between three of these teams. Blank Box are just sitting there watching all of this unfold and thinking, this is excellent news for us.
I mean, Box really hasn't done too much, though, in regards to the game. 11 eliminations so far for the guys from Influence Chemin. They're absolutely laughing all the way to the bank just in terms of elimination points alone. Box Gamer had to get that one single point from I8 as they entered, but I really don't know how many more points they've been able to accrue from this spot. Not involved at all, and it could just be a case they come into the end game here feeling very cold, whereas Influence Chemin's on an absolute hot streak. They go for this crash, and Box Gaming might not be able to hold them off.
There's the final player falling from Titans, third place coming on in. The top three teams were still in it right until the end, so even though Titans are there, they're not going to be able to catch up. Chemin doing so much work, but Box with a big chance here to put up massive points, but they've only got 2 points so far, making it up into second place. That's 14 points, a maximum possible coming in of 18 points on the game if they get all 4 of these eliminations now, Blank. It's good, but it's not massive.
I mean, for Influence Chemin, all they have to do is wait for Box Gaming to make a mistake here, because the circle's not going to close too quickly. So if Box Gaming, they need to hold on to and fight off against Influence Chemin on this push, but to do that they have to peak. And I think with how good Influence Chemin are feeling today, if you peak, like, you're going to get bullets sent back your way, and from 4 separate barrels. Next circle over towards that western side. You know what? Influence Chemin could even set themselves up on the other side of this fielded area and wait for Box to move. It looks like they're going to do that, or just go for the crash. Okay.
Going straight on in, 2 players on the swerve, cut across the lines, and actually both of them survive, miraculously somehow staying up. But Little Boy does go down as Break pops the nade out the window, flushed out fast. Break traded off, Federal knocked in the meantime. 2 players fall, Law and Koyowski trying to make that cross as well, hitting the deck on the outside. They might be using this as a distraction to get the outside track on the next circle, but with Koyowski falling, 3 players alive from Box, can they get anything done? Law evens the numbers, but it's spotted, and that is Box holding it down for a chicken dinner at the end of the day. They jump on out of the red zone. No elimination bracket for them just yet, but there is still plenty more to come. But what a way to give yourself a little bit of momentum moving into day 2.